this is my review on Joker. So, movie also was after looking into a mirror and making faces, and then gets jumped by kids, and the title Joker pops up. Now, Asa will become the Joker throughout the course 3 acts of this film. Slowly, but eventually, he will become the crown prince of crime we know and love from the comics. And me. So, Asa has a job as a clown. Then he got a gun from a friend, then he dropped it when he was on the job as a clown, got fired from his job. Then his mother gets and ends up in a hospital after he pays Mr. Wayne a visit and finds out that Arthur's mother and Mr. Wayne slept together and had a child, and that was Arthur. Only to be revealed, the next thing to reveal that, next thing you know, Alfred Pennyworth, outside was the gates of, inside the gates, talking to Arthur, and trying to tell Arthur that she's just delusional and crazy. She made the whole thing up, but basically just crazy. And says that you're actually adopted, only to then he confronts Mr. Wayne, and he says the same thing, but only to be revealed that I'm telling you a little bit of a story, then I'm going to tell you some scene. Only to find out from this record after he sold from this guy, finds out that his mother would stand by this guy who was abusive to us and has suffered several head injuries, and was tied to what we found tied to a radiator. And she said he always seemed like such a happy boy. And I think she confused his mental illness mixed with no, she didn't, because she said to Arthur that his lasting part of his mental illness. And so, he walks home to his girlfriend's apartment to be great with love and comfort, only to find out that he made the whole thing up. He made the whole thing up in his head. His relationship with his girlfriend is all made up. And he basically pretends to shoot a gun at his head, and that really horrifies her. When she does, because she I don't know, it just horrifies her, because, and how the scene is shot, and it's a very creepy scene, and it's also a very sad scene. And then also he kills half people who had it coming, I think is half, and the other half is people who are just innocent lives, and didn't really do anything mean to them. But looking back, I think he killed more innocent lives than, well, than the people that didn't have, than people who did have coming, who basically jerks to him. Yeah, I'll get to that point later after I tell the story. So he exits his girlfriend's fake girlfriend's apartment and goes to the hospital to kill his mother and tell his mother there's nothing really anything wrong with me. The laugh is the real him. This is when he slowly starts to embrace who he really is. This is when he says the laugh is the real him. Yeah, that's kind of hinting at that he's just starting to accept who he is, and just starting to slowly embrace it. Then he kills this other guy who well, that, well, was his friend and he works with, and he lets the other guy go because he never did anything mean to him. He was only the person that liked him. And this is after he says to his mother he never has been a happy person in a day in his life as far as he can remember. And this is after his mother seemed like such a happy, it says she seemed like such a, and this is after he said the real him is the laugh is the real him, is not a mental illness that he needs to fix, it's the real him. And what I just told you, this guy he killed was his friend, this was after he confessed he's off his medicine. And he says he never felt better. So yeah, he puts on the suit and the makeup, and he puts on his Joker gear, puts his Joker makeup and his Joker costume on after that, and he starts dancing on the stairs. This is symbolic that he is no longer the world's bitch, but now the world is his bitch. And the cops, want to just talk to him quietly, but he just runs after them, and yeah, he just he laughs when they get brutally beaten, which is when they get brutally beaten by this mob of who idolized the Joker because he killed 3 rich guys on the train early in the film before he fully embraced who he was. And now, to be fair, that was kind of self-defense, but it didn't really. The thing is, it didn't bother him at all that he killed these people, and he openly says it to this guy that he stole the records from. And I just want to say, This and It Chapter 2 are the best horror films I've ever seen. And this kind of, helped heal the pain that Far From Home gave me, Spider-Man Far From Home. And, because it did such a good job capturing the Joker's character, it kind of restored my faith in humanity a little. Because it made me think, well, not everyone's an idiot. Because he did such a good job capturing the Joker's personality, especially in the third act, when he puts on the makeup. He just came on here, so I opened the door. So, he goes on to the murder fame show, and he's not being mean to Arthur, even when he admits that what he did, confesses on. This is after he told a bad joke, and that the jokes that the didn't find the joke, but honestly didn't really find the joke funny. So, and also after he answers Murray if when he brings us, could he introduce him as Joker, and he says yes, is because he got in for because the reason why he really wants to be called Joker instead of Arthur, because he hates his name, and he always has hated his name. And the reason why also did that, because he sees that Joker, the name Joker is who he really is, not Arthur anymore, because Arthur is dead inside, and there's only really Joker. And he knows and plus the third reason is he doesn't know if he's a real person or if existence really matters. So the Joker thing, I guess, makes him feel like he is important, and that hang on. It's this thing that only really matters because, well, he doesn't know who he's, what was his heritage, or if he has one, because his mother adopted him, and he found out the hard way. He found out the same time he found out all the bad stuff that he went through as a kid that he doesn't really remember, and because he suppressed it. And when he goes on the Murray show, after he admits what he did, and Murray says, "I'm assuming you did this because of a political statement." And he says, "Murray, come on, do I really look like a clown that's political?" Because I'm laughing because this is the dialogue. This is such the Joker, and especially when he's okay. I have three things, and I'm going to say what those three scenes are. That is the third scene, and number 3 scene is when the Joker is laughing at the cops getting brutally beaten to death, because that's just the Joker from the comics because that is just so him. And I'm going to tell you about the other one when the other two when we get there, to the next reveal. And also Murray says not everyone's a horrible person, Arthur. And this was after the reason why he did it is because they're assholes. That's why he killed people on the train. And he tries to tell us, brings Arthur back to reality. Murray does, and by telling him, not everyone's a bad person, Arthur. And he says, but you are, Murray. You brought me on the show to make fun of me. And this is after the scene, which is another favorite of my scene. Number 2, my favorite scene is the reason why he did what he did on the kill those people on the train is because he finds it funny. Damn. This is the not only the scariest Joker, but it's also the funniest Joker and the most three-dimensional Joker since Jack Nicholson's. And yeah, I've seen Heath Ledger, but I wasn't really impressed with him. No, I was impressed with Jared Leto's. And he has a mental illness of this laugh, but then he just fully, by the end of the film, he just fully embraces it. So, anyway, he shoots Murray in the head twice, and says and says hello to his audience on camera. After yelling out saying all of his true feelings, what he thinks about society. Then he said a cop car, and then Bruce Wayne supposedly gets murdered by not the Joker, but someone in the clown mask. I'm gonna get to that why I mean by supposedly. Then he is dancing on the police car after the people break him from going to jail, and he's dancing on the police car for his audience that admire him. And next thing you know, he's laughing in a mental institution in Arkham Asylum. And the reason why he's laughing because he thought of a joke. And he says, you wouldn't get it, he says to the therapist. And she just asked what the joke was. She wasn't being mean, she just asked what the joke was. And, so next thing you know, his shoes have blood on them, and he's running away from the people that work there, and he's running towards them because he's chasing them, and the song is That's Life is playing. And it starts playing when the Joker starts singing it after he's fully embraced who he is and who he's fully embraced that he's meant to be the clown prince of crime, the Joker. And now that part is my third favorite part. Now, throughout the course of the film right away blurs the line between reality and fantasy, because you're not like you can pick pieces of what's happening in Arthur's head, but what's happening not in Arthur's head. Like one was really a dead giveaway, but one is not as much of a dead giveaway as you would think. See, the dead giveaway that he makes up fantasies in his head because he has all these mental illnesses, so he can't tell what's in reality and fantasy. So anyway, one of the things he makes is on the Murray Franklin show, and Murray talking to him like a father. And another fantasy I think is obviously his everything with his girlfriend, and another fantasy is also when he's beating the trash. Because it's kind of hinted out that he's not really that well in the head. And throughout the two first act and second act of the film, his mother's been saying letters to Thomas Wayne asking Thomas for money. Because they were not doing well financially. And the other thing that I think is obviously a fantasy is two more things, but I'm going to get to the first one that I was going to say. Okay, you know the guy that said that used to be his friend, but he got a gun from that guy, but Arthur took the blame? I'm guessing that was a fantasy that Arthur had. Because the guy has a totally different tone of his personality, and the next scene we see him in. And also he has the same kind of personality, and the next scene we see him after that. But the scene we first see him in, he has a totally different, he's differently and saying his lines odd. Almost like it's a fantasy. And so I think, so I think he fantasized that the guy gave him a gun for protection. Just as I think he fantasized breaking the getting jumped by kids and the sign getting broken. And I think his boss that fires him sees right through him and sees right through his fantasies, but he doesn't. But because Arthur can't tell what the difference between right and wrong, also known as a Joker, he's convinced that is the truth when it's not. And his boss was saying, you can tell his boss just by hearing his voice, he likes Arthur a lot, almost like a son. But you can also tell he knows that Arthur's not that well in the head, still not that well in the head. And he asked him as a friend who, you can tell he's asking as a friend, because he needs to know why you brought a gun to a children's hospital. And he says it's part of his act. And I think that's a fantasy he made up in his head. Not dropping the gun at children's hospital, but the fact that he says the whole gun is part of his act now. I think that's a fantasy he has in his head off screen. Another thing I think is a fantasy is when he's dancing on the cop car and for his audience that worship him, because I think he's thinking him. I think he's fantasizing this I also think he's fantasizing Thomas and Martha Wayne getting murdered by this street clown who wears a mask. I think what really happened was that's not what happened. How Bruce's parents got murdered. I think he did it, and he's either fantasizing and telling. I think he's just like fantasizing, having another fantasy with that. Because why would he actually? Because when you look at it, why would he show that if he's not fantasizing, if it's happening in reality? In fact, why would any of that because the whole thing, that whole, when he gets, after he gets hit by a cop, he gets pulled out by this guy who is a clown, and his cult is worshiping him as he's dancing. And meanwhile, Martha and Thomas Wayne get murdered by gunshot. So I think what the joke is, I think I know what the joke is that Joker is laughing at in the end, that the therapist said he said the therapist wouldn't get. I think it's that he just realized that he killed Martha Wayne and Thomas Wayne, and Scott traumatized a child. So yeah, this was a really good movie actually. So, and I like how the joke, and I also think the joke is open up for interpretation. So, and I would like to see it, if they do see it, I would like to them answer that, or like, I don't know, show what was real and what was not real. Show what was real and not real. I don't know, have him have a flashback or something. And I'm just gonna say, Thomas Pennyworth in this film is my favorite cinematic outfit next to Irving Giants. And I think he's as good as the Alfred on Gotham. So, yeah. I also noticed that this Joker takes a lot of inspiration from the Golden Age Joker from the comics. Which is what Jack Nicholson's Joker took inspiration from. Except this one's more closer to his source material, though not Jack Nicholson's, the other one. This one that I've been talking about in this video. And yeah. Also so where was I? Oh yeah, I think another thing is a fantasy is him getting into the refrigerator, fantasizing him about committing suicide and symbolizing that. And hinting at that he's been thinking about it. And the whole 3-act structure of this film happens in 1 week. That's why all this crazy stuff happens in 1 week in the life of Asa Fleck, who will become the crown kiss of crime that we all know and love, the Joker. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I really love this a lot. I think it's as good as Batman. I think it's good as also the same quality as maybe more. I think I like it more than Batman. I think I like it more than The Dark Knight Returns because it has The Dark Knight Returns had a lot more stupid, unnecessary things that didn't really got explained unintentionally. This one has not explain. It doesn't explain everything, but it seems like that's the intention because you can tell it's buying heavily inspiration from the King of Comedy, which is about a guy having a psychotic break. And yeah, that's my thoughts. So yeah, I recommend this film.